Torah guardian, speaking the absolute truth. Torah nation.
Shalom, shalom, Yasharal, Yahuda, grafted in Gentiles into the body of Hamashiach. Listen, Yahusha has made my life pure. I have received the witness of Yahusha Hamashiach. I've received the Ruach HaKodesh of Yahuwah. He's made me complete. I've received everything that I need. He's given me all that I need to get the job done. In the witness of Yahusha Hamashiach. I don't have to struggle. All I have to do is obey the Ruach HaKodesh. I don't have to struggle. All I have to do is receive the Ruach HaKodesh, the witness of Yahusha. I don't have to fret because I have the Ruach HaKodesh and he's been made wisdom unto me. He's been made understanding to me. He has been made counsel to me. He has been made might to me. He has been made knowledge to me and the fear of Yahuwah. He has given me the Ruach of wisdom and revelation and the knowledge of him. He has made available to me through the Ruach HaKodesh a discernment. Right? The discernment of the 7 ruachs of creation. He has quickened me. He has given me life. Yahuwah, let your people know. He told me to tell you that you need to receive the Ruach HaKodesh. And I'm going to preach it until the end. Yahuwah, I declare that the words that you've given me, I'm going to give to them. The words that you gave to Yahusha Hamashiach, to give to me, that I've received in Emunah, never having received or seen him. Physically, never seen him. But I'm blessed, more blessed, because I've received the witness. I've received the water, I've received the blood, I've received the Ruach HaKodesh, I've received the witness. I've established in the Ruach HaKodesh, I'm a son of Eluah. Yahuwah, I pray in the name of Yahusha Hamashiach that you would take the reins of my lips, the ring of my tongue and reign. Yahuwah, I have to declare the word that you told me to declare. Your people need to receive the Ruach HaKodesh, Yahuwah, because they... Yahuwah, in the name of Yahusha Hamashiach, I give you praise. I give you praise, Yahuwah, I give you praise. I praise you, Yahuwah, I praise you, Yahuwah. Cause me not to cause anyone to stumble, to be turned out of the way, that will come up lame. Yahuwah, this Ruach HaKodesh of truth, this word of truth, is life, it's peace, it's medicine, it's everything they need. Yahuwah, to those who have an ear to hear, I pray that they would receive the witness of the Ruach HaKodesh and receive this, your word. Yahuwah, let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. Yahuwah, my strength and my redeemer. Listen, you better get the Ruach HaKodesh. And you better know you have the Ruach HaKodesh. Oh yeah, you better know you have the Ruach HaKodesh. Yeah, because there's a lot of people that's moving about thinking that they have received the witness of Yahusha in its entirety, the complete witness in the Ruach HaKodesh, and they doing things that don't make sense, that have nothing to do with the Ruach HaKodesh leading and move. Listen. He made my desires pure. And listen, you know what? In the Ruach HaKodesh, I'm going to tell you the truth. I ain't holding back. I ain't biting my tongue. I'm not doing it. I'm not biting my tongue. I'm not saying anything to please your flesh. I'm not trying to say anything to stimulate your mind. No. I don't care about any of your fleshly, sensual desires. I am here to speak a word of Yahuwah and Yahusha by the Ruach HaKodesh that's going to quicken you, make you alive, that cause you to walk in the witness of Yahusha Hamashiach and be named amongst those who will be a part of the kingdom of Yahuwah, having received the Ruach HaKodesh. That's all I'm doing. I'm not trying to entertain you, right? I'm not here to entertain you. I'm not here to make your flesh jump. That's not me. I'm not him. I'm not that one, right? As a matter of fact, I hope this word will either make you so motivated to love Yahuwah or make you so mad that you don't want nothing to do with it. That's what I want, because I'd rather have you hot or cold. Yeah. Just like the word says, I'm not in it to establish a bunch of friends. I'm not trying to be your friend. I'm trying to be your brother, your kinsman, redeemer, one who moves in the Ruach HaKodesh of love, designed to bring about the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach and to establish subjects for the kingdom of Yahuwah and Alua in this dispensation. Right? This dispensation. In this dispensation where perversion is running rampant. In this dispensation, right? Where the Ruach HaKodesh and the witness of Yahusha has to be preached because it's not being preached. Oh, it's not being declared. It's not being declared. Yeah, no. That's why I'm here. Right there. And declaring this witness, listen, you ain't gonna have a lot of people telling you that you this and you that and you wonderful. No, because the Ruach HaKodesh of truth is what it is. It's the Ruach HaKodesh of truth. And you know what? Yahuwah told me a long time ago. He said, listen, and actually, I mean, it's not what we do. We don't mark our bodies like that in tattoos and stuff. We don't, right? But there was a point in my life where, I had gotten to the place where, like, all I want is the absolute truth. All I want is the absolute truth. All I want to do is be the truth. All I want to do is say the absolute truth. All I want to do is declare the absolute truth, because everything else, I don't want nothing to do with. I don't want nothing to do with it. And that set me on a course. And listen, you know what? There has been some bumps in the road because you know what? I did not listen to the Ruach HaKodesh. Yeah. He knew I would repent, right? And I did. He knew I would turn back, and I did. But you know what? I had to go through some things. Listen. I have experience. I've been through some things because I had to listen to the Ruach HaKodesh. See, I'm not doing what Paul did. I'm not doing that no. I'm done with that. I'm done with not listening to the Ruach HaKodesh. I'm done with that. I'm done with not listening to the unction of the Ruach HaKodesh within me. I'm done with that. Well, listen, I'm not going to do what Paul did. I'm not. Yahuwah, I pray in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. If I start to go away other than listening to what you say to me and the Ruach HaKodesh, you send somebody filled with your Ruach HaKodesh that will give me a word that will show me I need to be back on track. Yahuwah, listen, send me a disciple that says, listen, don't go to Jerusalem. Send me a disciple, send me somebody who has the Ruach HaKodesh. Now, not just anybody, but somebody that has the Ruach HaKodesh, because, everybody will try to give you a word, right? But I ain't listening to everybody's word. I know when the Ruach HaKodesh is speaking to me because he's in me. And if he's in you, there's a kindred, right? We connect. If you say something to me in the Ruach HaKodesh, I connect with it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm going to connect with it. Yeah, because, I ain't crazy. I know when I hear the Ruach HaKodesh. Listen, I know when I hear the Ruach HaKodesh. I told you about the experience that I had when I had this, what's this called? What's this stuff called again? What is it? Shingles. When I had shingles, right? I told you, right? Couldn't sleep for like 3-4 nights, 5 nights. I just couldn't sleep, right? And I was up, and and all kinds of things were attacking my mind because this thing was creating such nerve damage, such nerve effect that it was even hard for me to focus. I originally I was just going in and I was doing what Yahuwah told me to, but after a while I couldn't even do it because I couldn't bring myself to focus, right? And I'm thinking, well, Yahuwah, I'm trusting you, I'm believing you, I'm standing on your word, right? And I was, but Yahuwah's like, look, man, you gotta move in authority. You are in a time, and this was before Christmas, because during that season, Hasatan attacks us with such intensity because he knows that we're warring against this wickedness, right? So here, I'm trusting you, and then Anakoti says to me, Elder, listen, you need to take authority. Ruach HaKodesh says you need to take authority over this. And I was like, I know I need to take authority, right? And then Yahuwah said, you better hear her. Listen to what she said. I'm like, I hear you, Yahuwah. And then I went in like I got angry with Hasatan. I got angry with the powers of darkness that was running rampant at that time. I got so angry and upset, and I started taking authority over them because I knew I could because I had the witness. Man, listen, that night I went to bed and slept like a baby because I obeyed what the Ruach HaKodesh has to say. See, I don't want to ever be into the place where I can't hear a word. Oh yeah. I don't ever want to be in a place where I can't hear a word, right? And then I had my Akis and my coatees in the sort of say, Elder, we praying for you. We praying for you. We know, you're going through. We praying for you. Listen, but I had to receive a word from the Ruach HaKodesh because I knew what I needed to do, right? But I didn't do it because I was like, but you know what? When I received that word and I spoke. And I took authority. I went in. Slept like a baby, right? I had to listen to the Ruach HaKodesh. I had to have the Ruach HaKodesh in order to listen from the word that I received from the Ruach HaKodesh. Because listen, if you don't have the Ruach HaKodesh of truth, you ain't going to be able to receive no word from Yahuwah. You ain't going to be able to. That's why you got so many of these people in these assemblies that do what they want to do, right? Thinking they got the Ruach HaKodesh. Listen, I could tell by what you post that you don't have a clue what the Ruach HaKodesh is and what it does. Because if it did, you wouldn't be posting the things that you post. You wouldn't be declaring the things that you wouldn't be running around seeking the answers to questions that you have. You don't have the Ruach HaKodesh. Listen, look. You better understand. That's why Yahuwah says, listen, they need to understand. They need to have the Ruach HaKodesh because Christianity has sent you a strong delusion. It caused you to believe that all I had to do is receive Yahushua HaMashiach. And if I confess with my mouth Yahushua HaMashiach and believe in my heart that Yahuwah is raised from the dead, I'll be saved. Right? For with the heart man believeth unto righteousness, and with the mouth confession is made unto salvation. That's the truth. But that's a line. There's precepts attached to this. And you shall receive power after that the Ruach HaKodesh come upon you. Right? You have to make a confession and you have to receive a witness. Listen, you can't go by what they said because they don't walk in it. And then see, we've been so conditioned as Christians that, we good. We believe the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach now. We keep in the Torah, right? But every other Shabbat, you got to come in and pray for a bunch of stuff to be delivered from, right? Because you don't have the Ruach HaKodesh. You've been conditioned to believe it. It's like that, but it isn't like that. They tell you that we ain't Christians, right? But they maintain the same ideology and they bring it over into the awakening, right? The awakening is the Hebrew a counterpart to Christianity. Yeah, until you get the quickening now, because it's okay to know who you are, but you still got to be quickened. You can't have assemblies based on just being a part of the awakening. You got to get people quickened in the Ruach HaKodesh. You got to send some people forward with some power. They have to receive the Besorah truth. They got to know the word of Yahuwah. They have to understand that they have to be led by the spirit of Yahuwah. Right? You got to relate. Listen. I'm going to tell you something. Listen. You better listen. Right? If you have the slightest bit of doubt whether or not you received the Ruach HaKodesh, you need to go in your closet. You need to pray and ask Yahuwah to forgive you if you don't have it, and ask him to give it to you, and wait till you receive the promise of the Ruach HaKodesh, because he did it to me in my room when I was young. I didn't need to wait till the Shabbat. I didn't need to wait till the feast days. I didn't need to wait till none of that. All I needed to do is have a resolution in my heart that I knew that I needed it, and I sought him for it, and he gave it to me. And I told him that I wanted it just like it was in the book of Acts, and he gave it to me. And throughout my life, I've seen those signs follow me. I'm just telling you, look, the Ruach HaKodesh is truth. The Ruach HaKodesh is truth. The Ruach HaKodesh is true. That's why he has me preaching to you the need to receive the Ruach HaKodesh. Because you're sitting around here waiting to be gathered, and you ain't even received this Ruach HaKodesh, which is the seal which establishes you in his kingdom, and you ain't going nowhere without it. I hope I scare some of y'all so much that you run into your closet and don't talk to nobody for 3 days and fast and ask Yahuwah to give you what you think you had or what you ain't sure you got. Listen, he said, save some from fear. Yeah, pulling them out of the fire. Look. You better get the Ruach HaKodesh or you're going to die and go to hell. You're going to burn. You're going to burn. Don't receive the Ruach HaKodesh. Don't receive the witness. You're going to burn. You're going to burn. And if you don't know that you have it, you better get in your closet and get before Yahuwah and Yahusha and ask them to give it to you. And wait till you receive it. And it comes in manifestation. It comes with the speaking of tongues and prophecy. So if they tell you you don't need to do it, they're lying. Because these signs follow them to believe. And everybody that received the Ruach HaKodesh in Acts had these signs. Right? Now listen. There is a blessing attached to having received the Ruach HaKodesh with the evidence of speaking in tongues because it's your connection with the Father. It establishes your connection to Yahuwah in a language that you and him and he and you know in your Ruach that establishes you and connects you. And listen, there's a reason for all of this. It is. And in the Christian church, they got you all twisted up because they don't have the Ruach HaKodesh and they can't rightly divide the word of truth. You need somebody who's going to rightly divide the word of truth. You need to be in a position where you can rightly divide the... Listen. Excuse me. That's why the Apostle Paul said, I think it was Paul that said, you need no man teach you. The Ruach HaKodesh, the Ruach of Yahuwah, the Ruach of Desh, the Ruach HaKodesh of truth will teach you, right? Because you know what? A man can teach you something, and if you don't have the Ruach HaKodesh, you'll absorb that and make that your Torah. But with the Ruach HaKodesh, he can say something to you, and the Ruach HaKodesh will say, no, that's not what it means. Or though it's not exactly like that, but it's like this, right? He will do what is necessary for you so that you know, right? And listen, I read from the Blue Letter Bible. Oh, yeah, I read from the word. And I reference the Greek and the Hebrew, right? But I recognize the people that put this together, they ain't infallible. And the ones that really put it together, they weren't necessarily motivated by the Ruach HaKodesh. They were just motivated by language and how language functions and flows, right? But listen, let me tell you something, right? You better have the Ruach HaKodesh. I don't care how much Hebrew or how much Greek you know, right? Right? I don't care, because the Ruach HaKodesh is going to show you and reveal to you what that word and that text is. The Ruach HaKodesh is what you need. You got to have it. You have to have the witness of Yahusha. You have to have the complete witness. Right? You can't run around here with just the water and the blood. You got to have the Ruach HaKodesh. These three are one and agree. The Father himself agrees with the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach. You can't sit up here and say you go be good. You can't sit up here and say you all good and haven't received the Ruach HaKodesh. You lie and tell not the truth. The Ruach HaKodesh is the Ruach HaKodesh of truth. You can't do nothing for Yahuwah without the Ruach HaKodesh. And listen. You can't teach me nothing either. You can't teach me nothing. Don't send me nothing. Right? Don't send me nothing. Now, I got some people that are in the Basora of truth, right? That have the Ruach HaKodesh. And they send me stuff from time to time, right? But they have the Ruach HaKodesh and they can discern, right? And you know, because they know, look, the elder don't want a bunch of stuff. That's why I don't listen to a bunch of people no more. I really don't, because I've heard enough, right? Honestly, I've heard enough, right? I've heard enough, because Yahuwah has called me to deliver a Basora of truth, to wake up his people, to bring to them the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach, to establish them in the truth of needing to receive the Ruach HaKodesh. That's my job, right? That's my job. That's what I do. That's what I do. That's what I preach, right? Right. I'm not here for no fanfare. I'm not here for anybody to stroke my ego. I'm not here for likes. I'm not here for none of that. I'm here to declare the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach, and those who have an ear to hear will hear, because you know what? There's only a remnant anyway. Because Yahuwah is going to send his word to those who he has chosen. And listen, it's amazing how, you can have people that will hear a word and, on fire with it because they received it and they're the chosen. And you have people that hear a word and just continue to go and pick words and hear words and do things and, get information all, what? Why? You should have the Ruach HaKodesh. The Ruach HaKodesh should lead you and guide you into all truth. The Ruach HaKodesh should be letting you know, no, man, I can't listen to this no more. I can't listen to that. I can't receive that. No. I can't. No. That was okay for a season, but I'm done with that. Yeah, no. Listen, that's what the Ruach HaKodesh will do. It will reveal all truth to you. Well, listen, don't listen to me because you think, I want you to listen because the Ruach HaKodesh tell you to listen. And if the Ruach HaKodesh tell you to listen, I know you got the Ruach HaKodesh. It's the Ruach HaKodesh that's sending the word out. Listen, that's the way it is. That's the way it is. You better get the Ruach HaKodesh. Listen, you better get the Ruach HaKodesh. And if you have the slightest bit of doubt whether or not you have the Ruach HaKodesh, you better go into your closet. Now, I don't mean necessarily a literal closet, but if a literal closet is what you need to get into, right, where you can just pray and you can fast and you can seek the Most High and shut yourself off from everything and everybody, that's what you need to do. Oh, that's what you need to do. That's what you need to do. Yeah. You say, well, how am I supposed to do that, man? I'm a parent. I'm a mother. I'm home. Yeah, listen, you're going to find a way, right? It may mean you got to start when you put them down to bed at night and get in your closet and while they sleep, you get before Yahuwah until you get an answer and you pray. And I don't care if it take you to 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning and you got to wake up and walk around while they get off and go. It don't matter, because you know what? This Yeshua, this witness, this salvation is that critical. You need to receive it. It's that critical. People walking around here under this Christian delusion, I've received Yahushua HaMashiach. Yeah, I've been baptized. I have the blood of Yahushua. I ain't received the Ruach HaKodesh. You ain't got the complete witness. Yeah, I said it. Yehukanan said it. Yahushua said it. Yahuwah said it. His witness is greater. All right, let's go. We're talking about Shaul in the 27th chapter, right? Now, this is what happens when you don't listen to the Ruach HaKodesh. Listen to another thing, right? Don't waste your time trying to teach people stuff that don't have the basic witness of Yahushua HaMashiach. How you going to teach people Ruachal things that only are discernible by the Ruach HaKodesh to people who haven't even received the witness? People who don't have the witness of the water, the blood, and the Ruach HaKodesh. Why you wasting your time? Why you wasting your time? I don't understand. Listen, you come to me with a concept that I know that is Ruachal, and you ain't even got the witness of Yahushua Mashiach. What I'm going to say to you is this: listen, man, it makes no sense for you to even try to embark on that, because you ain't going to be able to grasp the gravity of it, because you don't have the witness of Yahushua Mashiach. Yahushua said himself, this stuff is foolishness to you. You ain't going to understand it. We can have a dialogue and talk about it, but why? You ain't going to receive it. The only word that you need to receive is the witness of Yahushua Mashiach. And on receiving the complete witness of Yahushua Mashiach, look, then we can go off into other things, right? But you can't be you can't be jumping into these deep spiritual things with people who don't even have the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach. Come on. Listen, if you had the Ruach HaKodesh, you would have enough sense to know that. You got to have the Ruach HaKodesh to even know that. You know, you're going to run around here trying to talk to your mom and them. Try to get them to understand deep concepts of the Ruach HaKodesh. And they don't even have the Ruach HaKodesh. They don't even believe that you have the witness of Yahushua. They believe that they have Jesus. You wasting your time. You are wasting your time. I don't care if you like it or not. Listen, I love my family, and they Christians. I love them. I love them. They're my family. But listen, I ain't going into no deep concepts about what I believe, because you know what? If they want to know, they're going to hear it. And if they have an ear to hear, it's going to quicken them. And they're going to begin to think, oh, you know, maybe what he's saying is right. Let me explore, right? And then they're going to have the same awakening that I had, right? When Yahuwah brought me to tears and said, you know what? I am the people of Yahuwah. I am Yahuwah's. I am Yahushua's, right? And then the quickening I already had identified with, right? The establishment of me as a Yahudim, and that was it. That was it. That was changed the course. Now, you know what? As I was developing, you know, listen, I wasn't listening to the Ruach HaKodesh all the time. Hence, that was why I went through some of the struggles I went through. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I had Yahuwah gave me a stroke. Y'all don't believe me. Y'all don't hear me. I don't care. It's the truth. He gave me a stroke. And then as he gave it to me, I didn't have a bit of fear. He told me as I prayed in the Ruach HaKodesh, because I had the Ruach HaKodesh. I prayed in the Ruach HaKodesh all the time, right? But I wasn't listening all the time, right? Prayed in the Ruach HaKodesh. He told me, he said, listen, I got this. I got this. Man told me, you know, they throwing me around on a gurney telling me, oh, this man has had a stroke. I said, a stroke? You know, he can't move the whole left side of his body, or left side, whole right side of my body. Stroke, right? I'm praying in the Ruach HaKodesh, because, you know, I have the Ruach. I'm praying, I'm praying in the Ruach, in my mind, because, you know, it's the Ruach. Yahuwah said, don't worry about it, I got this. I had a stroke on Tuesday night. I was in the hospital till Friday. I got out on Friday, and I was walking. Saturday, I jumped in my truck and started driving. Sunday, I jumped on the motorcycle and started riding. Monday. Listen, that was Yahuwah. But you know what? That was a wake-up call. Because I still have this little piece of me that knows that I had the stroke. Nobody else will know, but I know that I had the stroke, because it's a constant reminder. Right? That I need to obey the witness. I don't want to not listen to the Ruach HaKodesh. There's dire consequences when you start listening to yourself and not listening to the Ruach HaKodesh. Because Ruach HaKodesh will warn you. Oh yeah, it'll warn you. It'll warn you. Shaul was warned. Some of y'all have been warned. Excuse me, by the Ruach HaKodesh now. You're being warned. Yahuwah is sending you this witness. You've been warned. You need to understand that this thing is real. And the only way that you're going to be led and guided into our truth is if you have received the entire witness. Receive the entire witness, man. You baptizing folk, you better make sure they got the Ruach HaKodesh. Once you baptize, when you baptizing them, you better be laying hands on them to receive the Ruach HaKodesh. Don't be leaving the job undone. Now, again, it's up to them to receive it. But guarantee you something, at the point in which they're going in that water and they coming out, that's the best time to put your hands on them and tell them to receive the Ruach HaKodesh. Because they're ready to receive. They're ready to receive from Yahuwah. Listen, these signs shall follow them to believe. This is what Paul did. This is what Peter did and John did. This is what Philip did. This is what they did in the Ruach HaKodesh. These signs shall follow them. And you know what? Paul still had the Ruach HaKodesh. Just like I had the Ruach HaKodesh after I had that stroke. Right? Right? After I had that stroke, man, listen. I tell you, I still had challenging times. There were still times that, Yahuwah had to say, no, don't do this no more. 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 Don't do this anymore. I had the Ruach HaKodesh. And I had to listen. I had to obey. I had to listen and obey. And listen, all you got to do sometimes, you have the Ruach HaKodesh, is listen to what he's saying. You come up with all these crazy things that you say on Facebook. Come up with all these crazy things that you say on Facebook. Don't nobody understand you but yourself. Right? The Ruach HaKodesh is not confusion. Right? You're saying stuff and I got to the point where I don't even spend time on that no more, except to push some things through. On the Shabbat, I'll acknowledge people, and there's some Akis and some Okotis up in here that I have to acknowledge because I know that they've received the witnessing, and you can tell, and they're standing in what they know and understand, right? But listen, everybody's pumping all kinds of stuff. And honestly, if you had the Ruach HaKodesh, you wouldn't be saying some of the stuff y'all say. It's that whole Christian mentality that's come over into the awakening, right? It's a Christian mentality. And then you got them brews that don't know nothing about Christianity, just straight up, straight up Hebrews. And it's all good. They come over cussing and rapping and singing and swearing and, and they think that's okay. You know what I'm saying? And then you got them brews that, that straight up in the Torah, straight up in, ain't in Hamashiach, And then you got them brews that start out that way, and then you can see how they change and begin to move in the Ruach HaKodesh because they've received the witness. You better listen to the Ruach HaKodesh. That's my message. And the Ruach HaKodesh looks like this. Right? And when you don't obey the Ruach HaKodesh, it looks like this. It looks like this. I'm a witness. I'm a witness. When you don't listen to the Ruach HaKodesh, I'm a witness. Yeah. But Yahushua was still merciful to me. Yahushua and Yahuwah, they brought me out. Right? I got this little thing that I know that I had a stroke. Oh, yeah. I know. I mean, you ain't going to be able to tell. Nobody can tell. Because I know. Come on. Yahuwah, all my hands, all my fingers, everything works. Right? But there's this little thing here that I know. Right? Look. I'm telling you. Because Yahuwah always want me to remember. Remember when I had you? He always wants me to remember. You remember when I brought you out? I give Yahuwah praise. You better listen to the Ruach HaKodesh. You better receive the witness. All right, so we picked up at Paul, and Paul was headed to Rome. And him and Julius was the centurion, and they boarded the ship and they went to several places, right? And we actually got to the point where they had loosed from Crete, and we kind of made our way into the shipwreck, how everything approached when it was coming to the shipwreck, right? And we know that Paul was shipwrecked more than once. He said thrice. And we learned that in 2 Corinthians, right? That was the 2 Corinthians, what was that? 2 Corinthians 17. No, 2 Corinthians 11 and 25, right? He talks about thrice he had been beaten, and once was he stoned, and thrice he had suffered shipwreck, right? He was shipwrecked 3 times, right? Right? And he says, a night and a day I've been in the deep, meaning that he was floating in the water. A night and a day. But see, he didn't have to go through this. And now the stoning, and the first time Paul was beaten, right, was because of Hamashiach's sake, right? During those missionary journeys, right? But the shipwreck, because the ship was stalled twice, right? It was stalled, and then it was stalled in Crete, I think, where they were doing some repairs, and the boat was sink. So they had to fix the boat, but when they got it together, they was able to get out of there before it started sinking, because we read about how that area and that territory and that land, the water would become shallow and it'd almost be a quicksand, and it'd start causing the boat. So, Paul references this in 2 Corinthians 11 and 25, right? And, he was shipwrecked, meaning, they were shipwrecked, right? So let's go to Acts. So let's pick up where we left off. He says, but not long after there arose against it a tempest, a wind called Euroclydon, right? And we read about Euroclydon, that bears
Strong's G 2148 Euroclydon.
Okay, and it's a northwest wind, right? And a southeast wind rising mighty waves and winds, right? And I think we also look up that definition, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. Let's do this. Let's do this. Euroclydon is a cyclonic or cyclone. Tempestuous northeastern wind which blows in the Mediterranean, right? Mostly in autumn and winter. It is the modern Gallia or Levarantus. So I think those are the modern terms instead of the use of the term Euroclydon, right? From the ancient Greek word Euroclydon, from Euros, right? And either ancient Greek word, right, or Latinist word. But it says it's not to be confused with the term northeastern, which is a separate storm system that forms in the northeastern portions of the United States. So it's not the same thing, right? So it says, and when the ship was caught and could not bear into the wind, we let it drive. So because you got these sails that you kind of hoisting up there, and the wind is so great, that you can't even move in the direction that you need to move in with the sails and the wind, right? You have to give way, because it's going to take you over, right? So so you have these people in this boat, and they just have to surrender to Euroclydon. They have to surrender to it. Now you got to realize this boat was getting beat down. Listen, this boat was being beat down. This is almost like cyclone. Listen, they was caught up in this, right? And I'm going to keep saying this, right? Shaul didn't have to go through this. All he needed to do was obey the Ruach HaKodesh. That's it, right? Now, so he says that when the ship was caught up and could not bear up into the wind, we let her drive. So we just let her go, right? And running under a certain island, which is called Clauda, we had much work to come by the boat. So there was a bunch of things we had to do to the boat. We were able to get in and under this island. There was a place in this island that shielded against the forces of this Heraclidon, and we were able to do some work and get the boat worthy again, because the boat wasn't worthy. Hence maybe one of the times that the ship was wrecked. Right? Which when they had taken up, they used helps undergirding the ship. So, you know, when they had taken up, I wonder if they're taken up. Did we look at that? Right? Right, taken up. Which means that they probably have elevated the boat. That's what I'm thinking.
Idle.
It means to raise up, to elevate, to lift up, to raise from the ground up stones, to raise upwards, to elevate, to lift up the hand up. So here we have them, right, lifting this boat up, right? Now the how to they were able to do that, I don't know. But when they got to this place, Clauda, right, they had much work to come by the boat. So they had to repair the boat because they were wrecked. They had to. They had to lift the boat up. They had to, right? Right? Which when they had taken up, they used help undergirding the ship. They got the boat up, and fearing lest they should fall unto the quicksand, strake sails, and so were driven. So they got the boat up, they made what they needed to do, but they had to get it done quickly because of the Mediterranean and how the water becomes shallow, right? And the sea become as quicksand. You know? And so they have to get it sailed. Cut it out, Kadar. They had to get it. They got to get the quicksand. They got to get it out, right? Right. Again, Paul didn't have to go through this, right? Yahuwah and Yahusha, by the Ruach HaKodesh, warned Paul not to go to Jerusalem. Everything that Paul experienced after the time of Agabus was a judgment, was a verdict that Yahuwah had allowed Paul to go through because he disobeyed the Ruach HaKodesh. Right? Was Paul cast aside? No. Did Paul feel cast aside? I'm sure he did. Because it took Yahushua HaMashiach to appear to stand by Paul and say to Shaul, listen, be of good cheer. Be encouraged. Listen, you got to be encouraged, Shaul, right? Because I still need you to testify as you here did in Jerusalem, in Rome. Right? Paul was called to the Gentiles. All he had to do was listen, but he did. So now he's got to deal with a Heraclidon. And you know, they didn't listen to Paul, right? Paul told him, said, listen, I don't think it's a smart thing for us to get on this. Because Paul had been sailing the seas for probably 4 or 5 years before, right? Going from place to place. He was walking, but at times he was on the water. He knew what times he should be, good time to sail and not. They didn't want to listen to him. Paul said, listen, I believe this is going to come to the destruction of the ships and even possibly our lives, right? Right? He didn't have a word from the Ruach HaKodesh. He just kind of like knew, Right? Right? So they head out again. And we being exceedingly tossed with the tempest the next day, they lightened the ship. So, you know, next day, beating down on them. So they start throwing stuff overboard. Listen, this condition occurred during autumn and winter. And they were into winter months. So this condition was going to be the regular, right? As they struck out in this ship of Alexandria, right? They started throwing stuff overboard, right? Right? Started throwing stuff over, lightening the ship, right? And the third day, we casted out our own hands, the tackling of the ship. So we lived. We was all in trying to throw stuff out. Listen, to be in that cyclone for 3 days. 3 days. It's crazy. All because he didn't listen to the Ruach HaKodesh. Yahuwah, please. Yahuwah, please. Yahuwah, please. Yahuwah, please. Yahuwah, please. Send somebody to me with the Ruach HaKodesh that I would hear. If you have a word from me, if I'm not listening to you, Yahuwah, send a word. Send a word by your Ruach HaKodesh. I repent if I haven't heard. I'll repent, Yahuwah. Send somebody that I might receive the word and walk in the truth and keep on the path. Listen, man, this is critical. It's critical. Paul, listen, now this whole time, Paul is still caught up. He ain't witnessing to nobody. He ain't preaching a bazaar to nobody. He may be encouraging some of the people on the ship, but you know, they all about hurling and listen, they ain't eating. Cause you ain't eating and the boat is going crazy. Come on, listen, 3 days on the ship, tossed. He said, and neither sun nor stars in many days appeared. So they out on this boat many days. They didn't even see the stars or the sun. They didn't know where they was at. Oh, man. On this boat, tossed. He said, neither many days nor stars in many days appeared. Listen, you know, they got to navigate by the stars. But they don't got no method of navigation, right? Paul did not have to go through this. He didn't have to go through this. He didn't have to go through this to get to Rome. All he had to do was hear the disciple when he was striking out. They said to him, listen, the Ruach HaKodesh said, don't go to Jerusalem. Paul rode the ships up and down wherever he needed to go. And he had the Ruach HaKodesh and the wisdom to choose whether or not to take a trip or not. Now he don't have that choice. Because he's in the custody of the Gentiles. Because Paul would have chosen not to get it. He said, listen, I don't think we should go. Paul would we're not going to go. It's not right. It's not the right time. We're going to tarry here. Right? Right? He knew that by experience. He didn't even need the Ruach HaKodesh. Look, he was up and down the Mediterranean on that boat. Okay. They couldn't navigate. They couldn't see the sun. They couldn't see the stars. They didn't know where it was rising from, where it was setting. They couldn't see the stars. They couldn't see the stars. They might have been able to see the rising of the sun. Listen. He says, it was many days. Many days. Many days. Appeared, and no small tempest laid on us. Many days. We didn't get a break. It didn't let up. We continued to be pressed. We continued to be tossed about in this Tsiydon. Not seeing the stars many days. Right? No small tempest laid on us, and all hope that we should be saved was then taken away. So we didn't even expect to live. Paul said we didn't expect to live. Right? He didn't expect to live. He almost forgot that Yahushua said that we must go to Rome. We got to go to Rome. Right? But after a long abstinence, Paul stood forth in the midst of them. Right? After a long abstinence. What does that mean? Right?
Strong's G 776. Asetia.
It was an abstinence from food. Right? So from a long abstinence of food. Right? After a long abstinence, Paul stood forth in the midst of them and said, Sirs, ye should have hearkened unto me, right? And not have loosed from Crete, and to have gained this harm and loss. Right? Now, Paul ain't ate, and nobody else has eaten. It doesn't say that Paul was fasting, but it does say he didn't eat. And listen, I can imagine, right? I can imagine, right? There wasn't nobody trying to eat anything, right? For days. For days. For days on that ship. Tossed. Still tossed. Days on the ship. Just tossed about. Just tossed. Not able to get to where you going. Tossed. Can't navigate. Tossed. Right? Can't navigate. Paul said you should have listened to me. Shouldn't have left Crete. Because you did, we've gained this harm. Right? Right? We in this strait. Right? We in this strait. Right? And now I exhort you to be of good cheer, for there shall no loss of man's life among you, but of the ship. Listen, we gonna be shipwrecked. But we gonna live. Nobody gonna die. Right? And, we gonna live. See, because Paul has to get to Rome. Right? Paul has to get to Rome. Now listen, right? Paul says, we will not have loss. He says, right? And now I exhort you to be of good cheer, for there shall be no loss of life, right, among you, but of the ship. For there stood by me this night an angel of Alua, whose I am, right, or my personal angels. I think who I am. I think that's a personal angel of mine, and whom I serve, or it is, for there stood by me this night an angel of Alua, whose I am, because he's Alua's, meaning that he's Alua's person. Yahuwah has given him his Ruach HaKodesh. He is Yahuwah's son, and I am, and whom I serve. I serve Yahuwah. The angel was the one that brought me the word, right? So he's saying, fear not, Shaul, for thou must be brought to Caesar. Right? You must be brought to Caesar. And lo, Alua has given thee all them that sail with thee. Right? So you got to be brought to Caesar, and he's giving them to you. Meaning that he's rescuing them because of you. Right? Right? Yahuwah. Right? Right? He says, wherefore, sirs, be of good cheer, for I believe Alua, right, that it shall be even as it was told me. Right? So don't be afraid. It's going to happen even as he told me. We being bounced around in this ship. We going to be shipwrecked. We going to be in the water. It didn't have to be this way. Yahuwah still getting glory. Yahuwah still gets the glory because Yahuwah saved them. Listen, let's go on. Right? Be of good cheer. He says, howbeit we must be cast upon a certain island. We going to be shipwrecked on a certain island. I don't know which one. Because right now we just tossed around right now, right? But when the 14th night was come, and as were driven up and down the Adrian about midnight, the shipmen deemed that they drew near to some country. He said, oh, we're coming close to some country. They ain't nowhere. Right. Right. No doubt. Yeah. Yeah. They coming close to a country. Right. And sounded the sound 20 fathoms. And when they had gone a little further, sounded again, found 4 or 15 fathoms. So what they're doing is they're measuring the distance from the land to where they are, right? And doing it by sound, right? Right? And then fearing lest they should have fallen upon rocks, shipwrecked, right? They casted 4 anchors out of the stern and wished for the day. So, they casted the anchors out. The boat is just thrashing still, right? They're getting close to land now, right? Because they see it, right? But they didn't know how to navigate it because of the rocks. So they didn't want to tear the boat up. Really, they're going to lose the boat. Shaul said they're going to lose the boat. Because the Lord told Shaul through the Malakim they was going to lose the boat, right? So, fearing lest we should have fallen upon the rocks, they casted 4 anchors out of the stern and wished for the day. And as the shipmen were about to flee out of the ship, when they had let down the boat into the sea, right, under cooler of thought, they would have cast anchor out of the foreship. So, what we have, they realized that the boat had ran up on something. They realized it. Right? Because they knew they had to get out the ship. Right? Because when they had let down the boat, let's see what that means. To loosen the slacking, right? To let down the higher place to the lower, right? To loosen the slacking. What's the slacking? I don't know if that refers to the anchor slacking or the sails. So let's do this. Let's do this so we have clarity. Because that word slacking kind of seems like it's of most significance in terms of understanding what's occurring. Let me see. Wow, that's not what I expected, right? Slacking, to raise or raising of a body in the air by supernatural means. Anything of immense size and power, right? To loosen, to slacken, to tighten. That's different. Let's see what it means in the Merriam-Webster. Become slackened, to slow, negligent, to lessen tension or firmness. So the idea is that something that was, and I'm thinking it would probably have to have been the anchor, right? Because the anchor was put out, right? But they realized putting the anchor out wasn't possibly the thing to do, so they let the boat down, right? The ship, right? It says, flee out of the ship when they had let down the boat into the sea under color. What does that mean? Perplexed. Oh. They were under cooler, meaning they were perplexed. All right, so, yeah, because we walking this down together, right? And the Ruach HaKodesh is going to give us understanding, right? So, what we have is, right, they have let out the anchors, right? Hold on. Where did I go? Set sail, chair, I'll be able to cast the certain island, come to the country, draw near. Cast anchor. No, that's not it. How did I scroll down? And stood by me at night. Oh, yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. Fathoms. And fearing lest they should fall upon the rocks, they cast out 4 anchors out of the stern and wished for the day. And as the shipmen were about to flee out of the ship, right, when they had let down the boat into the sea. Okay, so they let the boats down, because I guess they have boats. They had a boat that they let down that was out of the boat, out of the ship, into the sea, under the color, under the concern that, the ship is going to be safe. They cast the anchor, right? Under color, as though they would have cast anchor out of the aforeship, right? So they cast anchor out of the ship. They lowered the boat unto the sea out of the ship, right? And would have cast anchor out of the aforeship, right? But Paul said to the centurion and to the soldiers, except these abide in the ship, ye cannot be saved, right? So he said, listen, they gotta be in the ship, or they ain't gonna make it. We can't be dropping anchor and jumping into a boat into the sea, right? He ain't gonna make it. He ain't gonna be saved, right? And the soldier cut the ropes of the boat and let her fall off, right? Cut the boat to the rope and they let the boat fall off, right? And while the day was coming on, Paul besought them all to take meat, saying, this day is the 14th day, and ye have tarried and continued fasting, having not eating. So, Paul's like, look, man, we've been at this for 14 days and we ain't ate nothing. We need to eat, right? Right? So they took the boat over to the side, right? Because they was going to get out the boat, evidently, the ship, right? And Paul was like, look, man, we can't get out the ship. Got to stay on the ship, right? They then got the boat on the other side. They done took the boat over the side of the boat, right? Ready to get out of the ship. He's like, no, don't get out the ship. If you don't get out the ship, you ain't going to be saved, right? Right? So they get back in the boat, and they cut the boat. They get back in the ship, cut the strings to the boat falls into the water. Paul's like, look, man, look. Paul looking at these brothers and said, look, man, we got to eat. We got to eat, right? So Paul said, while the day was coming on, Paul besought them all to take meat, saying, this day is the 14th day that we have tarried and continued fasting, having taken nothing, right? We had fasted 14 days, right? And they fasted because the water was too bad, nobody could eat. Or they fasted because this was what they did, right? Wherefore, I pray you take some meat, for this is for your health. You gotta eat, because if you don't, you ain't gonna make it, right? For there shall not an hair fall from the head of any of you. He says, so ain't nobody gonna die. You had already told me. So get some food, eat, right? Break this fast, right? And he says, in the 35th verse, and when he had thus spoken, he took bread and gave thanks unto Alua in the presence of them all. And when he had broken it, he began to eat, right? So when he broke the bread, he began to eat. So everybody began to eat. He says, and were they all of good cheer, and they also took some meat. So they were all encouraged, right? Just like Yahushua told Paul, be of good cheer. Be of good cheer, Paul. Paul was not cheerful at the time, right? So, they took courage, they eat, and they became cheerful. He says, and we were all in the ship, 216 souls. So nobody left the boat nobody left the ship on the boat, right? Right? So then he says, and when they had eaten enough, they lightened the ship and casted out the wheat into the sea. So they cast everything out of the ship into the sea, right? Because the sea is still getting busy. Listen, Arachladon is still in full force, right? It's still in full force, man. I'm telling you. He says, and when it was day, they knew not the land. but they discovered a certain creek with a shore, into the which they were minded, if it were possible, to thrust a ship in. So they're going to take the ship through this creek. Okay. They were desperate. And when they had taken up the anchor, they committed themselves into the sea and loosed the rudder band and hoisted up the mainsail of the wind and made toward shore, right? And falling into a place where two seas met, they ran the ship aground. Yeah. Shipwrecked, right? They ran the ship aground. And falling into the place where the two seas met, right? They ran the ship aground, and the afore part stuck fast and remained unmovable, but the hinder part was broken with the violence of the wave. So the front of the ship, boom, got lodged. But because the sea was moving violently in two different directions, the back of the ship was ripped in half, ripped off. Shipwrecked. In the water. No boat. Because they cut the boat. They cut those strings to the boat. Right? Right? And when they had taken up the anchor, they committed themselves into the sea and loosed the rudders, bands, and hoisted up the mainsail to the winds towards the shore, right? And falling into a place where two seas met, they ran the ship aground, and the forepart struck fast, and the remainder unmovable, but the hinder part was broken with the violence of the waves. And the soldiers' counsel was to kill the prisoner. He was like, "Oh, well, let's kill these prisoners, because we can't say they escaped, right? Let's kill them, right? Lest any of them should swim out and escape," right? But the centurion, willing to save Paul, kept them from their purpose, and commanded that they which could swim should cast themselves first into the sea and get to the land, right? And the rest, some on board, and some on boards, and some on broken pieces of the ship. And so it came to pass that they escaped all safe on land. So, they was in the water. And the boat wrecked. And Shaul said in 2 Corinthians, he says, "Thrice was I beaten with the rod," 2 Corinthians 11:25. "Once I was stoned, thrice shipwrecked, a night and a day I have been in the deep." So Paul was in the water, shipwrecked, a night and a day, making it to the land. But they escaped all safe, right? Right? This is what it looks like when you obey the Ruach HaKodesh, right? Shaul told them that Alua was going to spare them all, right? Going to save them. Because of him. They was going to save them. Right? Yahuwah was going to save them. But there came a point where they were ready to get off the boat. They had put in anchor. They knew there was some land. They put the boat over the edge. They was ready to drop it down. They were ready to go. They was going to make it to the land. Right? But Shaul said, don't do that. Because Yahuwah has already said that he's going to keep you. If you go in this boat, you ain't going to make it. Paul didn't get in the boat. See, Shaul, he understood. Look, I'm not listening to anything but what the Ruach HaKodesh has to say. And Yahuwah sent me a Malachim, an angel. I ain't doing nothing. I'm in this ship. What you need to do is you need to let that boat go. Because that boat, now it's over the side. So, the wind is still blowing. They tossing. So, it's slamming into the ship. They got to cut it off. Because they can't get it back in the boat. Because they done lowered it down too far. Slamming into the boat. That's what's happening, right? You got to cut this. Got to cut it. But he listened to the Ruach HaKodesh. Yeah, the boat was wrecked. But Yahuwah spared them all, right? Let's go on. This is what it looks like when you listen to the Ruach HaKodesh. When you listen to Yahuwah's servants, right? And it's clearer, right? When you have an angel appear before you and that angel says to you, Shaul, Yahuwah said, da 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 da. You have this Malachim that's standing before you and giving you a word, right? Right? But that same word in the Ruach HaKodesh from a disciple that have received it by the Ruach HaKodesh should carry the same weight. Prophetess, the four daughters of Philip who prophesied should have witnessed to Paul. Agabus should have witnessed to Paul. He shouldn't have went to Jerusalem. Paul said, If you would have said that we was going to be shipwrecked, that means I need to be in the ship. If you would have said that our lives are going to be spared as long as we remain in the ship, you got to listen to the Ruach HaKodesh. Got to obey the Ruach HaKodesh. Let's go on. Right. Acts 28:1. And when they were escaped, then they knew that the island was called Milta. So once they got to the island, right, they escaped the Arachlodon, because it's still going down. That's just, water, and that's still working out. He's doing his thing, Arachlodon. It's the season. It's, but they made it to the land. Once they got there, they realized where they were. And the barbarous people shewed us no little kindness. So these people, they were real kind to us. Right? For they kindled a fire and received us every one because of the present rain and because of the cold. They showed us kindness because of the rain and the cold. So they was in that water, in that ocean in the wintertime, in the rain and the cold. Paul didn't have to go through that. All he had to do was listen to the Ruach HaKodesh. He didn't have to do that. He didn't have to go through that. You know, Yahushua knew he was going to suffer. Listen, Yahushua, there's some things that you're going to have to suffer for my name's sake, right? Right? He didn't have to, Paul didn't have to go through that. Right? That was added suffering. But that was because he didn't want to listen to the Ruach HaKodesh. Does Yahushua love Paul? Did Paul still have the Ruach HaKodesh? Absolutely. But you still got to listen to the Ruach HaKodesh. You can't do what you want to do. Can't decide to do what you want to do. You got to do what the Ruach HaKodesh tell you to do. Right? Right? So they showed him kindness. And when Paul had gathered a bundle of sticks and laid them on the fire, there a viper out of the heat fastened on his hand. Right? Because now you're going to see what it looks like. Right? Let's do this. Let's do this. Let me do this. No, that's too far. Let me see. Mark 16:17. Right. So let's read Acts. So we find in Acts, right? Right? And when Paul had gathered a bundle of sticks and laid on the fire, there came a viper out of the heat and fastened on his hand. Right? And when the barbarians saw the venomous beast hanging on his hand, they said amongst themselves, no doubt this man is a murderer, whom though he haveth escaped the sea, yet vengeance suffereth not to live. Right? Sowing and reaping. What you sow, you're going to reap. Vengeance. Because of you having done something wrong. You murdered somebody. You killed somebody. Right? So, you don't get rescued and out of the group and then die because you was meant to die. And that's what they was thinking. Right? Right? And he shook off the beast into the fire and felt no harm. Right? Howbeit they looked when he should have swollen or fallen down dead suddenly, but after that had looked a great while, they saw no harm come to him, and they changed their minds and said that he was an L. Right? Right. So, Mark 16:17, right? Yahushua told the disciples to go into start the 15th verse. Go into all the world and preach the Besorah, the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach to every creature, right? He that believeth that is baptized shall be saved, he that receives the witness, the Ruach HaKodesh, the water and the blood shall be saved. Right? And these signs shall follow them that believe, right? Who receive the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach. That word believe is attached to the precept of having received the witness. And Yehukanan, first Yehukanan 5, beginning at 8. Actually, beginning at, you can start at the first verse, but we're going to start at 5. For he that overcometh the world, but he that have believed that Yahushua HaMashiach is the son of Elua, right? So the belief is that Yahushua HaMashiach is the son of Elua, right? And he that came into the world by blood, right? By water, by blood, even Yahushua HaMashiach, right? Not by water alone, but by blood. It's the water and the blood. You have to come by the water and the blood. Yahushua was baptized by water, right? And he came by blood because his blood was used for the atonement from sin. And he came in the Ruach HaKodesh because he received the Ruach HaKodesh without measure. Right? Yehukanan the immerser testified to that because Yahuwah had told him, upon whom you see the Ruach HaKodesh dwell on, he will baptize with the Ruach HaKodesh. Yahuwah set his approval on Yahushua HaMashiach by declaring, this is my beloved son in whom I'm well pleased. Right? He bore witness to Yahushua HaMashiach. Right? Right? And this is the witness that came by water, right, and blood, even Yahushua HaMashiach, not by water only, but by blood, right? And it is the Ruach HaKodesh that bears witness. You have to have the Ruach HaKodesh in order to bear witness. The Ruach HaKodesh is what causes you to be established in the water and the blood, right? It is the Ruach HaKodesh of truth that bears witness. It's the Ruach HaKodesh of truth. That's what it does, right? For there is 3 that bear record in the Shamayim, the Father, the Word, and the Ruach HaKodesh. These 3 are one, and there are 3 that bear witness in the Arets, the Ruach HaKodesh, the water, and the blood. These 3 agree are one. Hence, when he says, he that believeth and is baptized, that's what he's talking about. You have to receive the entire witness. The water, the blood, and the Ruach HaKodesh. Right? Right? And having received this entire witness, right? Right? You are in Yeshua. You shall be saved. Right? But he that believeth not shall be damned. Right? Now, these signs shall follow them that believe. Why? Because they have the witness with the Ruach HaKodesh in its entirety. Even though it does not say the Ruach HaKodesh, to believe is to be established in the witness. The Ruach HaKodesh, the water and the blood. You have to receive the witness, right? And these signs shall follow them that believe. This is what is in Acts. This is what Yahushua HaMashiach did. This is what the apostles did. This is what Shaul did. He lived it out. He walked it out because it was what he was. He was a man who had received the Ruach HaKodesh. He received it when he received the witness of Yahushua, having obediently went to Ananias in Damascus, who when he prayed with him and laid hands on him, the scales fell from his eyes. Shaul received the Ruach HaKodesh and was baptized, and straightway after he had eaten, refreshed himself from the fast, went straightway in the synagogue and began to preach Yahushua HaMashiach. This is what the witness looks like, right? He said, and these signs shall follow them that receive the witness. In my name they shall cast out devils, Shaul did that, right? Because it's what follows them who believe, right? They shall speak in new tongues. Why? Because the Ruach HaKodesh is demonstrated in speaking in tongues. It is evidence. It is evidence. It is evidence. What? It's evidence. These signs shall follow them to believe. They shall speak with new tongues. Man, who is saying this? Yahushua HaMashiach. It is what he said, right? He told his disciples to go and tarry and wait for the promise of the Father. Because you can't do nothing until you receive the promise of the Father. You know, I got to go. Because if I don't go, the Ruach HaKodesh will not come. And you will not be sealed. You will not be kept. You will not have what you need to keep the Torah. You won't have it. You had it as long as I was here with you. While I was with you and I breathed on you and you received the Ruach HaKodesh, for those 40 days it was with you because I was with you. But once I leave, the Father will have to send you the Ruach HaKodesh in order for you to be established unto the end. He said, these signs shall follow them to believe. In my name they shall cast out devils. They shall speak with new tongues. They shall take up serpents. It don't mean dancing around with a snake like these crazy subdivision of Christians. Oh, I take up serpents. No, that's demonic. That's demonic. That's demonic. They shall take up serpents. That's demonic. That's not what he meant. Let's look at this. Let's do this real quick. Take up. Take up. To raise up, to elevate, to lift up, to raise from the ground, to take up stones, to raise, to elevate. That's what the word take up means. Take up means to pick up. So literally, they literally took the serpent, latched his hand onto him. He took him up and he shook him off, right? So, she'll take up serpents, right? Yahushua said it. He said, they shall take up serpents. They drink any deadly thing, it shall not hurt them, right? You can't take any deadly thing and have it hurt you if you have the Ruach HaKodesh. They can't kill you, right? Right? Now, you can't volunteer to take up deadly thing because then you tempt in the Ruach HaKodesh. That's idiocy. Yeah, that's idiocy, right? You can't run and take vaccine, which is an RNA vaccine, and expect it not to come in and change your DNA. You can't do that. That's ridiculous. You know, you can't do that. You can't say, oh, well, you know, I can take up deadly things and it shall not hurt me. Yahuwah will be praised. No, it don't work like that. It don't work like that. Now, if before you received this revelation and this truth, you took it, then, you know, listen, you could go before Yahuwah and Yahuwah will come in and do exactly what his word says because that's what he does. But you didn't take it up knowingly. Listen, if you take up any deadly thing, it shall not hurt you, right? You shall lay hands on the sick and they shall recover you. These signs should be following them to believe. This is what we do. This is what we do. This is what Paul did, right? This is what he did, right? Right? And when the barbarians saw the venomous beast hang on his hands, they said amongst themselves, no doubt this man is a murderer, right? He's a murderer, whom though he hath escaped the sea, because the sea let him live, right? 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 The L of the sea, of the marine kingdom, let him live, right? Yet vengeance suffer not to live. Excuse me. And when he had shook off the beast unto the fire, he felt no harm. Yahusha said this happens to those who believe, who have received the entire witness with the Ruach HaKodesh, the water, the blood, and the Ruach HaKodesh. These three agree. These three, which make one, agree. Right? It occurs in those that believe. You have to receive the Ruach HaKodesh in order for this to happen. If you don't have the Ruach HaKodesh, you're going to die. Oh, yeah. That's why you got to Ruach HaKodesh, man. This is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. It looks like this. It looks like the shipwreck because Yahushua said it was going to come to pass. It looks like the shipwreck because Paul was there and he never had to be there. All he had to do was listen to the Ruach HaKodesh. It is what it is. Yahuwah is a deliverer. Yahuwah's word is... signs that follow them to believe. I'm worried about a snake for. I have the Ruach HaKodesh. And you know what? That was a sign to them. Right? Right. Howbeit they looked when he should have swollen or fallen dead suddenly. But after they had looked a great while, I'm watching him for a long time. You know, you all stand around the fire, shook the snake off, and you know, they whispered over to themselves, this man gonna die. Yeah. He escaped the vengeance of the he escaped the wrath of the sea, but he's not gonna escape the vengeance. Watch, he's gonna die. Watch, he's gonna start to swell up. He don't look like nothing happening. He's not swelling up, he's not dying. He must be an L. And saw no harm come to him. They changed their minds and said that he was an L. Right? Changed minds, say he was L. And in that same quarter were professions of the chief men of the island, whose name was Publius, who received us and lodged us 3 days courteously. So, oh yeah, we gotta go to Publius, man. This man is God. We gotta take him in, right? They took him in courteously, right? Probably lavished all kinds of things on Paul. And it came to pass that the father of Publius laid sick of a fever and of a bloody flux, to whom Paul entered in and prayed and laid hands on him and healed him, because that's what it looks like. See, this is what the Ruach HaKodesh looks like. This is what we should be doing. This doesn't say that any man did. This man hadn't received the Ruach. He hadn't received anything. He was in a place where his son or his father the father was this son, this man laid sick, and Paul went in and laid hands on him and prayed for him, and he was healed. Because that's what the Ruach HaKodesh looked like. What you doing? Running around worried about posting stuff and don't even know you have the Ruach HaKodesh. What you talking ain't what Shaul's talking. It ain't what we hear the apostles speaking. You got to have the Ruach HaKodesh. The witness. All right. I'm almost finished. We'll almost tighten it up here. He says, to whom when Paul entered in and prayed and laid hands on him and healed him. And when this was done, others also which had diseases in the islands came and were healed. Because that's what the Ruach HaKodesh looks like. See, he now can preach the Basora of truth. Right? Because these are Gentiles. These are Gentiles on the island. are barbarous, right? Because they may not have any kind of civilization. Those civilized, which they consider civilized, right? Romanized. Heal them. He's still doing the work. Because Yahuwah's still going to get his witness out. Shaul didn't have to go here. Who's to say Shaul wouldn't have gotten to this place any other time? And not under the circumstances. Right? Yahuwah is still great. Listen, I had a stroke and couldn't talk. Yahuwah's still great. Look at me now. Oh, praise to the Most High, for he has given me his witness and the Ruach HaKodesh, and he has mandated me. He has declared that I have to preach this witness, that I have to declare that Yahushua HaMashiach's witness must be received. You must receive the Ruach HaKodesh, the water and the blood. Yahushua's got this. Hallelujah. Woo! Right? So when this was done, others also which had diseases in the islands came and were healed, who also honored us with many honors. And when we departed, they laid us with such things as were necessary. The Ruach HaKodesh. The Ruach HaKodesh. Yahuwah, man of Yah, woman of Yah. This is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. You gotta have some rules. You gotta receive the Ruach HaKodesh. Yahuwah in the name of Yahushua Mashiach. That's what it looks like. I give you praise. I give you glory. I give you honor. I magnify and worship your name for your Ruach HaKodesh. For the Ruach HaKodesh of truth which you has given me. I praise you, Yahuwah. I praise you. I praise you. I praise you for this witness. I thank you, Yahuwah. I will declare this witness, Yahuwah. I was once without speech, but now I have it, and I will declare this witness. Yahuwah, I will declare this witness. I will declare it wherever you want me to declare it. I'll go to the uttermost parts of this world until the time in which you have called us to be gathered. I will declare this witness, Yahuwah, in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. I will declare this witness. Man of Yah, woman of Yah, listen, you better receive the witness. Yahuwah, I pray that they would receive your witness. Receive this word, this Besorah, this word, this Torah of truth. That it would make them alive, quicken them by it, heal them, deliver them. Yahuwah, heal them, deliver them, heal them in their body from sicknesses and disease. Yahuwah, heal them, heal them, heal them, heal them. Yahuwah, heal them, heal them, heal them, Yahuwah. In the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. In the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Yahuwah, I pray. In the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Yahuwah, I pray, I pray, I pray, I pray, Yahuwah. In the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Receive your healing. Receive your deliverance in the name of Yahushua Mashiach. He's not locked into time or space, right? This is yours now. When you hear it, when you receive it. It doesn't matter if you hear it tomorrow. The word is today, because the word is not locked into time and space. Healing. Yahushua's word is not locked into time and space. It's available when you hear this. In the name of Yahushua Mashiach. Yahweh, let the words of my mouth and meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. Yahuwah, my strength and my redeemer. Man of Yah, woman of Yah, that's all I have. Listen, I love the Besorah of truth. And I love the word of Yahuwah because it confirms itself. The witness of Yahushua is confirming itself all the time. And I receive that witness. That witness is life. That witness is peace. That witness is medicine. That witness is healing. That witness is shaking off serpents, drinking deadly things, and not have it harm you, because Yahuwah's Ruach HaKodesh is in you. Man of Yah, woman of Yah, you better have it. That's all I got. So with that, I say, listen, may the peace of Yahuwah, the shalom of Yahuwah, rest, rule, and abide with you now, henceforth, and evermore, who has received the witness of you. With that, I say, shalom, shalom, and shalom be blessed.
Torah Garden, speaking the absolute truth. Torah Nation.